Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Owen James. Guys, it's the channel to come to for all your latest Rangers news and opinion. Well, it's now official. Robin Pröpper is a Rangers player. That was announced, obviously, yesterday. We'll cover a little bit on that story. We've also got a little bit of news, reports, there's rumours, there's all sorts of things circulating around Rangers. 2.5 or 2 million, depending on where you read it. Moroccan striker Hamza Igamane. Apparently, there could be an issue with him. Let's face it, it wouldn't be Rangers without an issue. So let's get straight into it, guys. I was hoping to bring you some Euro squad news. I did stay up and everything, but didn't seem that anything has come out as I'm recording this video at 11:05 on Wednesday night. No, Thursday night even. Sorry, Thursday night. Where's my thinking? It is Thursday, isn't it? Yes, it is Thursday today. Okay, so let's cover this off. Let's talk this through. So, here, no, not that one. This one, there it is. It is the official scarf picture, scarf and shirt in place. It's never official until you've got the scarf on, is it? You know, until you've got that scarf and you've got the shirt, it's never really truly official. Well, there we go. We now know it is truly official. There is Robin Pröpper with his Rangers scarf and his Rangers shirt on. Looks good, doesn't it? Looks good in blue. I think, one of the biggest, most telling things for me about this signing, looking at it, is a lot of FC20 fans are very disappointed to be losing this player. They like him. They think he's a good player. They rate him, and they're really disappointed that the club have sold him. Now, that for me is a good thing. I think, when you've got a club and you've got a situation where a club's fans are very disappointed that a player is moving on and is leaving that club, that's all indicates that player, obviously is someone who cares and tries and gives his all for the club that he is playing for. So very positive news that is about Robin Pröpper. What else do we have on him? He is obviously, a Dutch player who, even though he's right-footed, prefers to play to the left side of defence, but is very much a both-footed player, a two-footed player, something obviously that the Dutch are very, very famous for. Pröpper obviously joins on a 2-year deal for around €3.2 million, which is about £2.5 million. Just a 2-year deal, which obviously is very sensible for a player who is 30 years old. He will wear the number 4 shirt. Now, he's obviously only signed today. Now, whether Clement will use him from the start on Saturday, I think it is debatable. Clement has always been someone who is very cautious as regards, using new signings from the start or players who've come back from injury. Not that Pröpper has come back from injury, which is really weird, isn't it? That we've got a player that's not injured that we've signed. Very strange indeed. But I personally would start him Saturday. I really genuinely would. I don't think we've got anything to lose. Realistically, do you want Ben Davies there? Not really. Big Leon is a possibility. John Suter and Big Leon, not too bad at all. But, stick him in, play him. What have you got to lose? The guy's obviously been through pre-season with Twente. He's obviously fit. Yes, he hasn't had a chance to train with his teammates, but, he's certainly someone who apparently is obviously, is fit and ready to play, is match fit. And I'm sure we'll pick things up. He's clearly, and he's a natural born leader. He's a natural player. He was someone who I think will pick things up very quickly. So for me, I'd be giving him a start on Saturday. At the end of the day, what have we got to lose? He cannot do much worse than the present defence, which has been exceptionally poor during pre-season. And given the news today that James Tavernier is staying if he starts, I think the defence will be all the poorer because obviously, my thoughts on my ball on Tav FC. So, guys, look, Robin Pröpper for me is a very good signing, a very sensible signing by the club. And when people said, it's a lot of money to pay for a 30-year-old, isn't it? €3.2 million, £2.5 million. That's a lot of money to pay for a 30-year-old player. But I think if you countenance that the average age of Coppen's signings before today was 20 and a half, I think it's a very sensible move to bring some experience in there and bring in a leader. This is what you're bringing in with Pröpper. You're bringing in a leader, someone who has leadership experience, someone who is a team captain of a team that you're bringing in, someone who knows how to lead on the pitch. And something else that I've picked up from a number of Dutch fan sites and Dutch fan channels, yes, football fan sites and football fan channels, before anybody accuses me of going on any other Dutch websites, he is someone apparently who is hated by opposition fans. He's someone I think was the polite way. I think it was kind of polite way that was put across to me was he's a bit of a dick because he likes to argue with referees. He likes to get in referees' faces. He likes to cause a few discussions with referees, shall we say? And I think this is something that has been sadly lacking from our team. I mean, look, personally, hate Callum McGregor. Cannot stand the man. Absolutely, genuinely detest him with a passion. One of the most overrated players in Scotland. But one of the things he does do well for his team is he gets in refs' faces. He influences games through his arguing and his prompting with referees and his bullying of refs. I think, if we have players like that, it can only stand us in better stead. Look, I know it's not sportsmanship. I know, it's probably not the way to do things. But at the end of the day, look, you've got to do anything you can to win. That's modern football. And, if Pröpper's going to be someone who gets in refs' faces and causes a little bit of an argument, a bit of a stir, albeit. Now, Pröpper was talking about his move to Rangers, and this is what he had to say. I was glad to hear about the club wanting to sign me. I always said I wanted to have a new adventure in another country, and when a club like Rangers comes in for you, it feels surreal. The club breeds football and you want to play your football here. I spoke to Cyril Dessers and Václav Černý, and they only had nice things to say about the club. It's nice to see some familiar faces. It's quite clear that, that Pröpper is very chuffed to be at Rangers, that, that he's excited to be here, that, that he wants to be here. He wants this adventure. He wants this new start, and that's positive. If a player wants to be here and wants to do well and wants to, push on, that's good. And the fact as well that he knows a couple of players from his time at other Dutch clubs. Apparently, he played a limited number of games with Cyril Dessers at Heracles. He's also played with Černý, so he knows these players. He's had experience with these players. So, at least he's not coming into a squad where he's completely coming in afresh with no one he knows, and there's no kind of, I don't know what's the word, foundation rooting players there for him. Phil Clement was also speaking about Robin. He said that we are thrilled to welcome Robin to Rangers and he will be an excellent addition to our squad. Well, hopefully to your starting 11, Big Phil, and you should not be rotating the defence, in my opinion. As a defender, he is powerful and has great attributes, which include the experience he has gained from his years of playing in the Netherlands and the leadership qualities he's shown from being the captain of FC Twente. So it's quite clear that, that Clement likes the fact that he's strong, likes the fact that he's a guy who likes to head the ball, get stuck in, likes the experience that he brings. And Clement didn't he speak about wanting to bring in experience? And I think it's very noticeable that Clement mentions leadership. And I think Clement is looking for a change in leadership, a new leadership group to emerge within the squad. Because the previous leadership group, obviously, of Goldson, Tavernier, Barisic, Lundstrom have been a bit of a disaster at this club. So, having a new leadership group to really give a new ethos, a new winning ethos, hopefully, not a serial loser mentality that Tavernier and co bring, is, I think, very positive. And I think he's hoping that Pröpper will bring that to the squad. Coppen has also been talking as well. He says, I would like to welcome Robin to Rangers and I'm delighted to add him to our squad. Very similar to the manager. We've been working on bringing experience into the squad, and Robin certainly brings that. He is someone I was well aware of from my time in the Netherlands, and I believe he has the right qualities to fit in well at the club. So he's clearly someone that Coppen has been looking at for a number of years, that Coppen wanted at the club, that Coppen has some, clearly very good knowledge of. So for me, positive, all good there. That, that we've got someone who's obviously been well scouted and well researched, and we're bringing in someone who, obviously will settle in and do a very good job at the club. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this signing. Personally, over the moon. I think it's a great signing, great move by the club. Right, so let's move it along a little bit. Now, we have three strikers at the club, don't we? We have Dessers, unfortunately. We have Danilo, who's still recovering. And we have Hamza Igamane. Now, the big question has been, where's Hamza? Where's he gone? Yes, that's Hamza, not Humza. Please don't have any nightmares about that. So where's he gone? Apparently, first of all, when he arrived at the club, he was seen as not being fit, not fit enough to actually participate in training sessions. And all the fitness work that he was doing was one-on-one with the Rangers strength and conditioning coaches, and that he was way, way off having a natural level of fitness to enable him to get a match level of fitness. Now, obviously, the first concern about that is, the fact that, he's come in, he's having to work. He's had to work on fitness. He's had to work on getting his fitness levels up, meaning that in terms of playing time, he's had none. In terms of pre-season prep, he's had none. So, he is pretty much, I think 4, 5, 6 weeks behind where the rest of the squad are at this moment in time in terms of playing minutes, in terms of getting minutes in your legs, in terms of tactics, in terms of being, part of the team, part of the actual shape. And for a striker, it's kind of more important than for a defender or a keeper, for example, or to a lesser extent than a midfielder, because striker's all about learning the runs to make. It's learning the spaces to run into, learning how players pass, learning how players will look for you, learning how players cross the ball, learning to be a partnership with the players in the wide areas in that 10 role. Something obviously that Igamane hasn't had due to that situation. Now, I know a few Rangers fans have kind of questioned the wisdom in paying £2.5 million for a player who isn't fit and isn't ready to go from the minute we start the season, given the fact that one of the things that we can be criticised for, amongst a lot of things last season, was our lack of clinicalness in front of goal. I think the false narrative that we didn't create enough chances, which I think we did. I think it was just we weren't very clinical. I mean, let's face it. Was it the Ross County game? I think at Ibrox, 48 chances or something. We took 4, but 4 from 48 is still exceptionally poor. Now, according to a number of reports and a number of media outlets yesterday and this morning, Igamane apparently has also, another reason why he is not part of this squad is because he is, wait for it, injured. Yes, that's right. Apparently he is injured. He's overcoming an injury and he's apparently he is months away from being ready. That is the rumour, the report that is currently doing the rounds. Now, if this is true, it's just a shambles. It really is. Why would you sign a player that's injured and not fit? It just smacks of the past. And it's something I really wanted the club to get away from. Now, it could all be a load of rubbish. It may well be. But, even if it isn't, the whole situation over if he's injured or if he's just not fit enough is just a bit of a farce, really. To bring in a player and pay money for a player. And realistically, that's a substantial amount to play for a young player. It is just crackers. I mean, look, I'm sure the young lad will go on to be a great success for the club. I'm sure he is. But it's a worry, isn't it, that we're pretty much carrying a player now until probably October, November time before he becomes available. Now, the issue I've kind of got with this, I'm not slagging him off. I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm not saying it's a bad signing. What I'm saying is the issue I have with this is when you've already got a player in Danilo who is coming back from injury, who will probably not be fully match fit again, to the end of September, start of October, you kind of got 3 strikers, and you've got 3 strikers who realistically only one of them is fit, and that's Cyril Dessers. Now, can you really rely on Cyril Dessers? I think the answer to that question is no, you can't. He's proven last season that he is not the most reliable excuse me, not the most reliable in front of the goal. He's certainly someone who I don't know, there's a big question mark over. So look, I have a real worry about the striking position again going into this season to go out and get a striker. I really do. I still think that is an absolute must to go out and buy a striker. We just need someone to come in, I think, and be someone who is a clinical finisher. And I think that is something we don't really have at the club. Now, I've said, and I think I'm right in saying that, it's too early to cast aspersions or doubts on Danilo. I think he needs time, but to get fit and then obviously prove himself. But by that same token, I don't think that he is what you would call an out-and-out clinical striker. I think he'll score you 20 goals a season, but he's not really an out-and-out 9. So for me, we haven't really got a real out-and-out clinical 9. So it's something I really want the hope that we go and get in the next, yes, it won't be in time for the Champions League squad because obviously that had to be named by 11 o'clock last night. But we do need someone. We need something. And I don't for a minute think it's going to be Lawrence Shankland. I think if the Shankland deal had been a situation, would have definitely happened. I think that would have already happened by now. It probably would have happened in January. And I think given the fact that Lawrence is out of contract, and then next season, I genuinely think paying 3 to 5 million is not realistic at all for Lawrence Shankland. So I still have a major worry, and obviously with the news that Igman is not fit and could be out for a good few months before he's even remotely ready to come back and actually train with the team and be in a position to play. It is slightly concerning, I believe, for the for Rangers. I really do believe that, and I think there's obviously still a lot of work to do in this transfer window. The window doesn't close till August the 30th. Of course it doesn't. But, this is where we're up to at this moment in time. And I really think this squad still needs a fundamentally massive level of strengthening. You look at the probable team that's probably going to play on Saturday, and you're still going to have a lot of last season's team that weren't good enough last season. So why are they suddenly going to be good enough this season? I mean, realistically, who do you see starting in that game? Realistically, who do you see playing, from the start against Hearts at Tynecastle? And look, I know Hearts have had not the greatest of pre-seasons, losing some games to English League One side, but I still think that Stephen Naismith will have those players set up and ready to go. I still think he'll have those players ready and firing and wanting to beat Rangers. I think there'll be a sense that that they sent blood to some degree, that they sent a chance to actually get the win, to actually to get one over on Rangers early in the season, and that's something that they're going to want. I mean, especially some of the new signings that are going to take time to bed in, and I understand that. Some of the players aren't fully fit. For example, Cortez. So there's big questions there, big questions. I mean, realistically, this is what I think if he is willing to throw Tierney and Pröpper in, this is the team I think that could start. Butland, I think he'll start James Tavernier. I think he'll start James Tavernier most of the season, unfortunately, which basically means that we're one player down on the right side of the defence straight away. Suter, Pröpper, Ridvan. Ridvan's got to start a left back for me. If you start Hefte there, I just look, nothing against Hefte. I just think defensively he's not ready yet. He needs time. Barron and Diamande have got to be the two if you're going to go with a 4-2-3-1. Personally, I prefer to see a 4-3-3 with a flat three in the middle with Dio, with Barron and Raskin when Raskin's fit, or Barron and Sterling, or Barrett if he's going to play Tav, or Barron and Dowell, something either side of Dio. But I don't think he's going to go with that. Cheney on the right, Lawrence in the middle, Cortez on the left, Dessers is up front. I mean, I'd rather see Danilo up there, but I just don't think he'll start Danilo given his fitness concerns. So, that's the team there. And that's probably the strongest we've got at this moment in time. And I still think that team is a long way short. I think, we're short. If we are going to play with a 10, then we're short of a 10. We're short of a striker. We're short of another centre back. We're short of a right back. I think there's a few positions there that do need to be addressed still going forward in this transfer window. Like I said, I was hoping to have some Euro squad news, but like I said, at time of recording, there was nothing out yet, even though it was 11 o'clock deadline. And I have been on X, refreshing X over and over again. I've been searching. I've been looking on the UEFA website. I've been looking on the Rangers website. And at the moment, there's obviously nothing there. So, that's frustrating. That is frustrating. But whatever the squad is, you've got to hope that realistically now what we've got is what's going to go into that squad ready for that game, those games against Dynamo Kiev. And perhaps the club are waiting till tomorrow morning now to reveal that squad. Right, guys, look. Let me know what you think, obviously, of the stories we've covered in this video today. Hopefully, we'll be back later with some more stuff for you. A couple of things just to ask before you go out. Please check out my friends at Not Another Rangers podcast. Give them a sub. I would love to get them to 500 by Saturday. I think they need about 220 something to get there. And also, please obviously subscribe to this channel. Help it to keep on growing. Guys, look, I really want to get this channel up, running, firing, so that I can do this all the time and constantly bring you Rangers content. That's what I want to do, and the way to get that is to get huge views, to get big subs. That's the way to do it, to build it up. On the way out, there's two things I always ask of you. Number one, smash that like. Number two, remember always, we are the people.